episode of FML, and today we're working on the SVX. Now, I don't think I ever did an intro video for this car, so let's start. This is my 1992... So this is my 1992 Subaru Svx. If you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you would have seen pictures of me picking this thing up. Beginning of this year, I think I grabbed it. My original intention was to use this as a parts car, but it actually is in pretty good shape. Don't mind that. But it actually runs really well. And with the exemption of this, which I'll explain later, it's actually in pretty solid shape. So I purchased this vehicle and it came with a little bit of a backstory. It's kind of an interesting one. The person I had purchased it from had gotten it from the original owner who lived in the UP, and apparently there's a lot of bears around that area. And I guess he hit a bear. I don't know what happened, but they tried to do like patch jobs on it. And where the rust is where the damage was. So like we have a dent here and they just kind of put some Bondo over it. I'm guessing this is probably the bulk of it. Looks like we got some Bondo right there too. Ooh, got some of that going on there. So yeah, wherever there was a dent, they put Bondo over it and now it's rusting. So I don't know if it just like clawed its way down the door and across here, but again, you can see damage. And where there wasn't damage, with the exception of probably this right here, this is natural rust, but there's no rust on the other side. The quarter panels and everything look pretty good. This thing's in way better shape than my red one, which isn't saying much. But if we go on this side, you can see, you know, there wasn't much for damage here, and we got a little bit of bubbling, but nothing crazy. Like, this side of the car is in pretty good shape. I'm assuming there was another dent here. Let's see. So they tried to repair this stuff, they taped it off, and it could have been done differently. And we got that there. But that's where we stand with bodywork on this thing. Either I could pull parts off my red one and switch them around. I don't care about my red one. I really don't care what it looks like. I might even do some kind of like patina finish on that thing. But I have parts on that car that would probably work. You know, I probably have a good hood. I could use that. I could use the bumper off of mine and put it on this car. We have a good windshield on this car, but our seals are coming up, so I'm gonna have to do some research and figure out what I need to do to remedy that. I know a lot of these windshield replacements can't happen because of the seal. We have our wheels and they are going the right direction. Let's see if we can get into our trunk. I don't know what I'm doing. But like I said, it runs good. I'm gonna have to throw a battery on a charger and we'll start it up later. But the first thing that needs to be taken care of is we have a fuel line leaking pretty bad right here. I'm gonna guess it's halfway between the gas tank and the fuel pump. If you don't know, the fuel pump, can't see. The fuel pump is right there. So there's lines that are hard that go from the fuel pump to right here, and then I think there's like a little rubber transition and then back to hard lines. And then we also got rubber transitions going between the fuel pump and those hard lines. So hopefully I don't have to drop a gas tank to fix this, but we'll see what we got. We also don't have any brakes. This e-brake works very, very well. And I'm pretty sure the owner put new stainless lines. Let me see. I thought he said they put braided hoses on the brakes. They just never bled them or something to that effect. Yeah, they're steel braided brake hoses on the front at least. The exhaust was all rotted, so I ended up cutting it off. But while I was underneath there cutting everything off, they got new control arms back here, new subframe bushings. I totally forgot that he had dropped the whole entire subframe on this vehicle and replaced all that stuff. So Underneath of it is actually rather solid, especially for a car coming from up north. As for the engine, everything looks complete. It runs really good. I'm hoping the coil packs don't look like they're terrible. I mean, they're oily. We'll have to take these valve covers off and change the valve cover gaskets, which may or may not be a big deal. I wonder if there's Freon in this thing. I don't think the AC is gonna work. But this is what we got with the motor. As for the interior, the leather's not terrible shape, but it's not great. We got a little bit of a rip here. I think a lot of this stuff can be refinished. I'm hoping the center console is in the back somewhere. He's got a bunch of parts back here. Other than that, I don't even know if this thing's got a radio in it. Ooh, look at that. CD player, which 1992 was a big deal. So that was a quick overview on the SVX. Now let's get to work. I really would like to stop, and gas is really expensive. I also noticed the gas gauge doesn't work, so I think I'm gonna pull that entire unit out and check all that stuff as well. But first, let's open up this trunk and get all the stuff out of here and see what all I have and what I don't have. We got all the stuff cleaned out. We definitely have had some pests in here. So these are the brake lines, I know, and he said that he had those replaced. And then these must be the fuel lines, so it must go underneath the car, back down, and then back up, and then through the car to the motor. I don't know. Looks about right. What I do notice is that these look like they've been replaced. We're gonna have to get underneath there and see what we got going on. This is our filler neck. There's our cover. I see we got a plug here, but I wonder if our wire fell down there. I ended up just crawling through the back to open up the trunk. We have a glove shoved in here, so I'm not really sure what purpose that does, but I think I'm gonna leave it there. Here's our center console. I did find a sway bar that's sitting back there now, but I see why he didn't put it in. Looks like he's got stuff for replacing the sway bar, some new hardware. Anybody know what these are for? They say SPC on them. I'll have to look into that. Is this for the sway bar too? Like a upgrade? And we got some sway bar links in there. We got our back seats. We got a muffler, one single rotor, looks like a front, and then a box of brake pads. I didn't even go through this yet. These look like they're all for the front. So, muffler, heat shields, there's our sway bar, all our hardware. That's kind of nice. It's nice how he's got everything bagged up. So, previous owner, if you're watching this, A, contact me, B, thank you. I've had the battery on the charger for a little bit now, so let's see if our radio works. I know the one window works. We'll get a proper size battery for this. Seat works. Seatbelt tracks do work, I know that. There we go. Sunroof. Sunroof's making noise. It acts like it wants to open. maybe need some. Maybe we'll just leave that be and do some further inspecting on that. That's it. Looks like we have a tape stuck in there. I wonder if I have the factory radio in my red car. Guess I never paid attention to the radio situation on that one. Since we're already got gas puking everywhere, here we go for a start. I think I'll leave the exhaust the way it is. A tension grabber, you know? They'll save lives. There you go. I have my work area covered in gas so you guys can hear the car start.
2 hours later.
So you may also wonder why I am starting another project car, and I think it was in the last video I said I wasn't going to worry about this car until way enough into the future, but a few things have happened. A, waiting for parts on this guy. Turns out a front bumper that's not all messed up is kind of hard to find unless I want to pay like $2,000. That's an exaggeration. It's like $800 if I want to get a bumper shipped to me that's in good shape. I was really hoping to find like a sport bumper for this car, but that's even more money. So for the sake of progress, there is a bumper that I gotta go pick up. Just waiting for a convenient time for that to happen because it's quite a drive. You're probably wondering why the minivan wheels are sitting here, and that's because I sold the minivan, aka the poop van is gone. And for some reason they didn't want the wheels. I was a little disappointed. I felt like these wheels really tied that minivan together, but the new owner did not think so, and he didn't want to pay extra to have these wheels. He's just using it as a work van. So I've been wondering what I'm going to use these wheels for. It's a 5x120. They don't look good on the BMW X5, so the BMW X5 needs something more aggressive than these. But what if, obviously, I will have to get adapters, but that's all I'll run. But these on the SVX, they'll look good, and they almost fit. Since we're gonna be doing body work on this thing, I think I'm gonna try my hand at extending these wheel flares out a little bit to clear these wheels. I'm gonna be watching some tutorials. This is gonna be a new thing for me, but I'm also going to try my hand at wrapping car. So we'll extend from like this body line out a little bit and try to keep our original arches. There's one guy on YouTube, I'll link his video below, that has a wide body SVX, and he kind of just did like a bolt-on deal that went over it. But I'm going to try to keep everything molded in and looking factory. But I think these are going to look good on this. But I said earlier, let's get this wheel off and jacked up and see where our fuel leak is and get that figured out. Crap, there's hornets. All right, we got our wheel off and the vehicle jacked up. You can see some of the work that the previous owner did. So we got new bolts there on the struts, our steel braided line, new poly bushings on there. I probably would have painted the subframe while it was out, but it's okay. I don't know if we got a new bearing back here or why that's so there. This flashlight's a little too bright. We also got our new adjustable links, new hardware everywhere, differential bushings are in there, like that, not too bad of a job. Our brakes are probably not gonna get blood from back here. I would be shocked, but let's crawl underneath there and see what we got. So from the looks of it, we do have new copper lines going from the fuel pump to right here. So he must have had this whole fuel tank dropped out too. It looks like our leak is happening right here. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. It's kind of hard, but this line right here is what we have a problem with, and it looks like it's the one that's going up into the vehicle. Let me take this hose off and clear some of this protective stuff that probably just held in moisture. I should probably put a jack stand on. Alright, I cut my line off right here. I'm going to see if I can get some hard line to go back through there, or I might just do a rubber hose from here to the other line. And I think I'm just going to do this one and this one, because what's happening is, let's get out of here. What's happening is that where the grommet was sitting on there, it rusted a hole in there, so that's where it was puking out our gasoline. Looks like I'm gonna make a trip to the hardware store, because you think I would have just bought some line to start off with, but that's not the case. You guys are under the impression that I am an intelligent person. So we got our fuel lines fixed. I'm gonna see how this plays out, but I really don't like the angle that these are coming at for it to be kinking on me. You know, the fuel lines we don't have an issue with because they'll pressurize, but our vacuum line will be an issue. So maybe later on I will just do some compression fittings and continue the metal lines down and underneath, and that way we don't have to worry about any kinking issues. But right now it works. I took my fuel pump out and I moved the leveling unit, sending unit if you will, and we did have some reaction to our fuel gauge, even though it was very slow, so it is in fact just really low on gas. And now let's put some brake fluid in it and see what happens. Our reservoir does have fluid in it already, so that only means that we have a bunch of air in the lines, and I'm only here by myself. What I need is those one-person valves, but yeah, here I am. And on that note, I am covered in gas, so I am going to go take a shower and clean up around here. Clean up here first, then go take a shower. Next video we'll work on the brakes. I'll have somebody here to help me bleed them, and hopefully that's all there is. I want to take a look at the rotors and see if I should just order another new one and just put new rotors and pads on right away, or what. But that's where we're at right now. Thanks guys for watching, and remember to keep making financial mistakes like Subaru SVXs. I'm never gonna on my bed.